I'm Henry Charrabé, Managing Director and the CEO of Fluence. We are ASX listed company under the ticker symbol FLC, and I'm very excited to present to you Fluence this morning. So Fluence focuses on the global water and wastewater challenge. As most of you may be familiar, we are facing significant challenges because water consumption is going to double by 2050. We are obviously have to manage the continuous wastewater threat that is not only caused by COVID-19, but it was of course aware from untreated sewer even before. And of course, the fact that traditionally infrastructure in water and wastewater suffers from enormous backlog, as the CapEx investment for in-the-ground piping, for example, makes up 2/3 of the entire investment thesis. So therefore, we have to respond to that challenge. And the way to respond is to have fast to deploy, low CapEx, water and wastewater treatment systems that are pre-engineered, smartly fabricated, and fast to deploy. We are trying to treat water and wastewater locally, making sure that these pre-engineered systems reduce any process engineering risk and get the customer the solution as soon as they need it. These are quickly to enhance large-scale infrastructure that obviously needs to be supplemented and enhanced with existing systems. So the solutions Fluence provides are both in the water and wastewater systems. In wastewater, we use a proprietary patented technology called MABR, which is unique to Fluence and allows you to treat domestic wastewater, so human sewage, with up to 90% less energy, and therefore reduces the OpEx by up to 50%. On the global side, Fluence does not only have wastewater treatment solutions, but also freshwater solutions with our NeroBox that allows you to treat up to 1.5 million liters of seawater for fresh drinking water out of one 40-foot container. So over the last years, we've seen tremendous success, as Fluence is the only global pure play company focused on that decentralized water and wastewater field. We have more than 160 MABR systems deployed as of Q1 this year. That is a success from just 24 months when the product was first announced. We have grown that smart products solution segment to 43% of our total revenue in 2019. And in Q1 of this year, we had our strongest quarter yet, which was over $47 million US in revenue, and became EBITDA profitable. In advance, I'd like to make sure to announce that all my numbers will be in US dollars, as that is how we inform the market. So that allowed us at the end of Q1 in our investor call to, despite the current challenges around the world due to coronavirus, to reaffirm guidance. And that guidance means that smart product solutions we will achieve revenue expected of at least $32 million for this year, have recurring revenue of at least $9 million, and will continue to have sustained EBITDA profitability for the year 2020. So once again, you're familiar probably with the insufficient global water supply, which are just staggering numbers. These numbers, and thanks to Ron and the Market Eye teams through this investor conference, only make everybody just make more aware and obvious of what the challenges are that we're facing, but there are fast to deploy embedded solutions other than the infrastructure we are all used to. So here you see what I'm talking about. If you look at the screen on the left side, the traditional centralized water and wastewater systems require a lot of CapEx, a lot of concrete pouring, and a lot of infrastructure that is just not needed. Especially if you build new plants for freshwater drinking systems, then you build them for future need. Very often, therefore, built in a redundancy because you do not know what in 5 or 7 years the population might need. So what you can easily do is build, to date, infrastructure systems, centralized systems that can be then augmented with decentralized plans. But not only augmented, we deal a lot in rural, decentralized areas where you see on the right-hand side the Fluence products, both in water and wastewater. Just-in-time CapEx, fast to deploy, smart technology, pre-engineered, and modular and easily upgradable, all of which is not possible with traditional large-scale infrastructure. On top of that, not because we exclusively focus on it, but because it's part of the Fluence mantra, we deliver on 10 of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These affect everything from obviously clean water and sanitation to areas like gender equality, because especially in developing countries, it very often falls on the female population to be responsible to bring and deliver fresh drinking water. With our decentralized systems, we allow people to rise up from poverty and to have access to fresh water systems and to clean sewage so we can eliminate and vastly decrease waterborne diseases. As a result, through our systems, we, through the waste to energy opportunity, have energy savings of over 1 million gigawatt hour per year, which is equivalent to over 700 million tons of CO2 emission. Our MABR and NeoBox products save over 13,500 tons of CO2 emissions per year, and our waste to energy solutions over 121 gigawatt hours per year are produced instead of using fossil fuels. So we reuse water already of almost 9 billion. We have produced drinking water for 121 billion liters, and we are treating over 187 billion liters of wastewater per year. So to talk a little bit about what our solutions really do, you see on this slide what we offer the market. We offer smart packaged, decentralized wastewater treatment systems called a spiral. The spiral system is a container, depending on the size, that has between 1 to 5 MABR modules inside and is a fully pre-engineered and fast to deliver wastewater treatment system. So if you are a customer, no matter where, you can ask a Fluence salesperson, I have X amount of flow in Y location, and within 5 weeks, you will have a standardized wastewater treatment system shipped to you, which is one of the great ways we have been able to have over 160 MABR systems deployed, particularly in China. The Super product is where we submerge our MABR systems into existing wastewater treatment basins that traditionally run out of compliance because we have more and more rigorous nutrient removal compliance, or to just run out of capacity. In both cases, Fluence can submerge our MABR product and therefore overnight increase capacity by up to 30%. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, the NeuroBox or the NeuroFlex systems, which allow you to have pre-engineered, fast to deploy freshwater drinking systems, because as you know, water is never a problem until it's an emergency, and having fast to deploy seawater desalination systems is one of our great strengths. So again, the solution obviously allows everybody to have less customization, therefore increase reliability. The engineering hours are vastly reduced. It allows us to have faster collection and faster delivery to customer, but also it leverages perfectly the BOT model, where we, for example, sell water as a service rather than just the equipment as a turnkey, which allows us to have continued recurring revenue. Fluence is a global company, and we have been able to really deploy our smart product systems over the last couple of years all around the world, as you can see here. But nowhere has the success been as strong as it has been in China over the last couple of years. The Chinese central government demanded in their 13th five-year plan that only 10% of then decentralized rural wastewater was treated, which should be treated to up to 70%. That 60% delta affects 440 million Chinese people, and we have a $15 billion opportunity to deliver MABR against that. As a result, and not to sell one MABR system at a time, we have created several partnerships. These partnerships are bulk order agreements that allow us to sell not one, not two, but in one case with our partner iTest, 70 MABR spiral systems within 4 months. China is a great opportunity, which we will continue to harvest, but as you can see, the opportunities are growing all around the world, and we continue to expect to have at least 1 to 2 strategic partners to be signed up in China per year as we grow our footprint in that very competitive and very beneficial market for our solutions. The NeuroBox system, by definition, is very strong in all coastal areas. So especially in the Middle East, we see tremendous opportunity for NeuroBox, as well as in other coastal areas around the world, including Latin America and the United States. The other part of our segments is the custom engineered solution segment. So we deploy systems in three different areas: smart product solutions that I mentioned earlier, recurring revenue, where we allow the customer to pay us over time and we own the asset, or custom engineered solutions. We were very, very lucky and glad to win a commercial contract in February of last year with the government of Ivory Coast to deliver a project that will allow the treatment of 150,000 cubic meters per day for the city of Abidjan, which is the largest city in Ivory Coast. This project is export credit financed by the Israeli Export Credit Agency and therefore mitigates any collection and any political risk. So Fluence was able to accompany the banks and the government to have financial close achieved on January 7th of this year for this milestone 165 million euro contract. We're now in the last steps of achieving conditions precedent so that we can get paid for the work and the revenues that have been recognized in the first quarter. But we are now in a unique situation that we can really forecast for the next 24 months where a bulk of our revenue will come from, which is this one project, and of course, continue to leverage our ability to continue to grow the smart product solutions. At the end of the construction of that project, we believe we are in a very strong position to bid for the long-term lucrative operation and maintenance contract, which will be awarded, we assume, prior to this plant being fully constructed, which again occurs 24 months after notice to proceed, which we expect to receive shortly. When it comes to the financial situation of Fluence, I'd like to point out that we had forecasted to become EBITDA profitable this year, and we were in the first quarter, and we will be sustainable EBITDA profitable for the year. But more importantly, our revenue mix, if you look at the pie chart, has changed towards the area that we focus on the most, which is smart product solutions. From only 16% in 2017 to now more than 43% in 2019. But not only that, we have continued to drive gross margins up and, more importantly, reduce cost. Because now, with the transformation towards standardized systems, we allow us to have less and less fixed cost. And in 2017, these were over $47 million in SG&A costs. And by the end of 2019, we were down to already $29 million. And we will continue to reduce that number in 2020. Therefore, allowing us to continue to be EBITDA profitable throughout as we drive the business towards smart product solutions. And you can see in the graphs towards more and more focus on standardized systems. So in summary, I'd like to highlight again that we are the only pure play global water and wastewater treatment company that is focused on the decentralized market. We are delivering and focusing on the United Nations sustainability goals, as well as achieve a tremendous opportunity for us and the environment we treat. We have unique proven proprietary wastewater and water treatment systems, and our MABR allows to vastly reduce the CapEx, the OpEx, and the time to market to have wastewater treatment solutions and MABR all around the world. We are positioned this year and thereafter to really focus on that large addressable market with smart product solutions and our pre-engineered standardized systems. We continue to see key bulk order agreements negotiated in China and are very optimistic that we will continue to see growth coming out of Southeast Asia. To date, we have over 280 smart products deployed all around the world. So this is by no way and no means a startup. It is a fully established technology with tremendous success and a very fast growth that we have been able to accomplish over the last couple of years. As a result, Q1 turned us to be EBITDA profitable. At the end of Q1, we were sitting just short of $17 million of cash. but we have a backlog of over $228 million going forward. So again, EBITDA positive in Q1, and we expect to become cash flow positive once conditions precedent from the Ivory Coast have been achieved. I thank you for your attention, and I'd like now to turn it back over to Ron to run through any Q&A. Ron?
Thank you, Henry. Thank you for that presentation. We have about 5 minutes or so for Q&A with a number of questions that have come in. Henry, I'm not sure if you can not share your screen.
Yep, I'll stop.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you. So I apologize. We won't be able to cover off all the questions, but I'll try and get us through as many as we can. So there's been a few questions that have come in, Henry, around the share price, and shareholders and investors asking what your views are about the share price relative to the success you've had in terms of executing on the operating strategy. Can you share those views with us and why you think investing in Fluence is compelling?
Absolutely. So I hope I try to make that point in this presentation, that I think there's a tremendous opportunity in investing in Fluence with smart products and more water scarcity issues all around the world. I think we as the board and the management team and over 360 people in Fluence have always delivered on what we said we would deliver and have seen tremendous success. We can obviously control as much as we can the business and how we deliver, but we cannot control the share price. We have significant support from institutional investors in the United States and Australia, and have had some successes in the market. And I'm hoping that thesis of what we have achieved and what the opportunity looks like ahead will allow us to have a further appreciation in share price.
Thanks, Henry. Another question, can NIROBOX run on solar power? And how has NIROBOX been going given there's been a lack of news flow around sales? Is this something you want to continue to progress in terms of NIROBOX?
Yeah, I think the NIROBOX is a fantastic product. Again, if you have wastewater for the MABR, you don't necessarily have to treat it, although it's very important for you to make sure that there's no waterborne diseases. However, freshwater is not a choice. So the NIROBOX is a great opportunity. We've had sales, even though not every sale is disclosable. Not every sale meets the disclosure threshold. So just because there hasn't been an announcement does not mean we haven't sold any NIROBOXes. Having said that, I think it's a great product. And as I said in the presentation, especially in the Middle East and other places, I think we have a tremendous opportunity to continue to grow the NIROBOX. And whether it's resorts, islands, coastal areas, I think there is a tremendous opportunity to further see NIROBOX grow, although not the same speed as we have seen MABR, especially in China.
Thanks. Just linking back into the question about share price from another shareholder, is it potentially because there's too many overheads in the business? Can you just talk about what you've been doing from a organizational structure and size perspective, please?
Yes. So we have continued to, as I said, reduce the SG&A from over $47 million just 2 years ago to now less than $29 million. And we expect tremendous revenue growth in 2020. So that percentage number is decreasing even further. We have also obviously organized the company so that we have more and more synergies. We have more and more shared services around the world. And as I said, we have less and less need to have custom engineered solutions, and therefore have a reduced requirement for engineers and a reduced necessity for overheads, and therefore push the smart product solutions even further so we can see more and more gains to the bottom line.
Questions along similar lines from a few shareholders. Will Fluence announce when it receives the Ivory Coast working capital for the project, cash?
We will certainly announce to the market once conditions precedent are met, and then I'm assuming that cash will be delivered soon thereafter, but we're working very hard despite all the logistical efforts all around the world, including Ivory Coast, including the banking areas, the United States and everywhere else, where COVID-19 is making things a little bit more difficult as airports are closed and other things are challenging. We will certainly announce to the market once conditions precedents are met, yes.
Thanks. Probably a couple of last final questions, given we're running out of time, and maybe just to focus on China, given that's a key market for Fluence. two questions. What is the competitive landscape for MABR in China? And also, what's the impact of COVID-19 and Trump's relationship with China been on the business?
Okay, well, let me take the second question first. We have not seen, Fluence is a global company. And although I'm headquartered and the headquarters are in New York, we are, a company that in China presents itself as a Chinese company. We are obviously with Israeli technology and listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, and we try to focus on delivering the best product for our customers. So the relationship with President Trump and the Chinese has not so far negatively affected us, nor should it, because we will focusing on the business rather than anything else. The competitive landscape in China is that MABR also exists with two other companies. One is called Oxymem, which was just in December acquired by DuPont, and the other one is called Suez, which has a Xilong technology. If I'm not mistaken, the two of them have 2 to 3 dozen installations around the world. We have over 160. So we clearly are the leaders in MABR. And when it comes to China, there are obviously other technologies out there, but Fluence is and continues to be the lowest cost, reliable wastewater treatment provider that gets to Class 1A, which is the standard required by the Chinese government to reuse wastewater for non-potable use. So irrigation, toilet flushing, and air conditioning. And so Fluence is in a very strong competitive situation. Having said that, every single order has to be won, obviously, and every single relationship has to be developed.
Okay, thank you. That kind of concludes our session with you, Henry, right on time at 5 to 11. So thank you very much for presenting and giving us some. It's obviously nighttime in New York at the moment, so we do appreciate you being online. And thank you very much.